Hi everyone, my name is Chanel Matthew. I am born and raised in Ottawa, Ontario. I'm now living in Constance Bay, Ontario. One thing I'd love to do before I die is say that I've traveled the world and volunteered in several different countries, educating and donating my time to help others and as well as animals in need. I recently decided to come back to Algonquin College to further my education. What I hope to gain from coming back to Algonquin is just a better knowledge and understanding of the environment we live in and how it impacts everything around us. So yeah, I hope you enjoy my documentary critique. So the film that I decided to watch for my documentary critique was Cowspiracy. The reason I chose this film, well, it all started off in our first environmental citizenship class when Jay had mentioned to us that we were all going to become vegetarian for a week and how this would greatly impact our ecological footprint. This piqued my interest. I wanted to go online and find out a little bit more and how and why. So when I did go online, I stumbled across this film. So in watching the documentary called Conspiracy, I would probably rate this documentary a 5-star. The reason I would give it a 5-star is because I've never seen a documentary cover this type of topic before. And I've just never seen anything like it. So everything that the documentary covered, I learned something from. So very, very, very much so worth the watch. I found the film to be very educational. I find that Kip Anderson put a lot of research into the documentary, and it shows when watching that. And to be honest with you, the documentary opened up my mind to a lot of things that I never really would have considered being or having an impact on the environment. So I really did enjoy that about this film. Okay, so what I liked about the film, I liked the fact that he used actual numbers and that he showed his efforts to get all sides of the story. And that not only did he focus on cow farming, but he also focused on fish farming and the agriculture business as a whole. What I disliked about the documentary, probably the fact that the documentary sort of made me feel like what I have been doing and what I was planning on continuing to do isn't enough and won't ever be enough unless I become a vegan. I also didn't like the footage of the backyard slaughterhouse. I'm not usually a fan of watching animals being killed, but at the same time, this is what's happening around the world, and this is something that can't be ignored. What I learned is that the livestock industry plays a key role in global warming, and that unfortunately, a lot of people who are of higher power, such as the government and larger corporations, refuse to acknowledge this. Another thing I learned is that or what I do believe in my opinion, is that a lot of the environmental organizations are also somewhat afraid to speak up about this issue just because of the power that the larger corporations and that the government have. Was frustration. Extremely frustrated with these environmental organizations that refused to interview during this documentary. There should be no reason for that. Just made me really frustrated because I've always supported these environmental organizations, and the ones who chose not to interview, I'm starting to think that maybe I'm supporting the wrong organization. So that was sort of an iffy feeling. I also had a little bit of a sense of relief because I've always wondered, what can I do to have a greater impact on saving the environment we live in? And I think I found it. I think I finally found it. So that was also a little bit of a relief. So this film has definitely inspired me to take action. I'm going to start off by taking action myself, and what I'm going to do is for the next 28 days, I am going to not only go vegetarian but go completely vegan. So I'm going to see how I do with that, and I'm also going to calculate my ecological footprint before and after the 28 days, just to see how much of an impact it did in fact have on the environment. I've also shared a couple of links on my Facebook page just to try to educate other people and see if anybody else is willing to join me on my mission to make the environment a much more sustainable place. In my opinion, the purpose of documentaries is to educate people and possibly make people aware of what might be happening behind the scenes. Well, before watching this documentary, I wasn't really sure what environmental issue was truly the one that was impacting our environment and our global population. However, after watching this documentary, I do definitely feel that the aquaculture business plays a huge role in destructing the environment that we live in, and is creating massive problems worldwide in our environment. I hope that you enjoyed watching my critique on the documentary called Cowspiracy, and I'm hoping that after watching this critique, you will turn this off and go on to Netflix and watch the documentary yourself.